I was allowed to drive the new Skoda Scala before its world premiere, but the car was covered. Then I've been to Israel for the world premiere, but I wasn't allowed to drive the car. Today is the first time that I see that car uncovered on the road. Very important with the Scala is it is the successor of the very successful Skoda Rapid Spaceback, and I think more important, it is the first production model of Skoda that features the new design language of the brand. Skoda says the car should be very comfortable on one hand and very modern on the other side. How it drives, what else it delivers, let's find out now. Looking at the front of the Scala, you instantly see the car looks a lot wider and flatter than its predecessor. One reason for that is the slimmer and wider grille of the car, and the other one are these new headlamps. Very important is the Scala comes as standard with LED lights at the front, but you can also have an option feature which is called a full LED package that starts at a price in Germany from 740 euros onwards. And the difference here is that with a full LED package you will have the full beam as well as the indicator as LED lights as well. And just to have a look at it and to instantly know which one is mounted, you can see with a standard version the daytime running light is down here. With our full LED version the daytime running light is up here, and the other one is we've got the eyelashes, which the standard one doesn't feature. There are two different petrol engines available for the Scala. There is a 1-liter petrol engine that delivers either 95 or 115 horsepower, and there is a 1.5-liter petrol engine that delivers 150. On top of this there is a 1.6-liter diesel with 95 horsepower available, and later the year you can also order the CNG engine with 90 horsepower that then works on natural gas. Gear shifting works either with a 5 or 6-speed manual gearbox or a 7-speed DSG, and very important, the power always goes to the front wheels. Our Skoda Scala features the 1.5-liter petrol engine, and that delivers 150 horsepower and 250 Newton meters of maximum torque, and is combined here with a 7-speed DSG gearbox. Very important is our car features the so-called sport suspension, which gives you the opportunity when you use the optional drive modes and you switch to sport, not only the steering gets stiffer and the engine is a bit more crisp, also the suspension gets even more stiff, and that gives you the opportunity to drive the car a bit more sporty. But for me the Scala is more a car where I look at things like comfort and practicability, and if you drive the car in sports mode and with a sports suspension the car also is 15 mm lower, I think you really do have a small lack of comfort, and this is something where I say I would not order it because for me it's absolutely not necessary. The space the Scala offers is typical Skoda for me. So you do have, as a driver and co-driver here at the front, more than enough space. Even me as a tall person, I really do sit quite nice in the car. You can adjust the steering the way you want, and as you see I do have enough head space left. But when I look behind my seat or the co-driver's seat, it looks like there is sufficient space, but I think we're gonna have a short stop to check out if I could sit behind myself. As promised, a short stop to see if I can sit behind me. I didn't change my seating position, and now let's climb in. So I sit in, and I do have to say I have a bit of headroom left, and as you can see my knees do fit behind the seat easily. I have space enough for my feet, and so I can say, even though it's a compact car, in the Skoda a tall person can sit behind a tall person. Let's talk a bit about the interior design, and especially the dashboard. Skoda tried to duplicate the line of the front of the car inside here at the dashboard, which means it comes here, goes a bit down and goes up again, so a bit like the grille of the car. And I think they really made this quite nice. It's not even the materials, it's the look of the whole thing, because it all looks very wide, very spacious, and they've integrated the infotainment system here at the middle where it is lower. And normally I have to say I'm not a big fan of these set on top displays. Normally I'm not a big fan of it, but here they really found a way to make it look like it should be exactly that way. So I have to say, with this car I do like it. Regarding to the materials and the craftsmanship, the Scala is, I think, when you look at that segment where the car is, not a typical Skoda, because in a positive way we do find so many soft touch materials like Here on the door panel, soft touch. On the dashboard, soft touch. Here, soft touch. You will only find plastic if you go lower down here. But very important, everything you look at looks really, really nice, and everything you normally touch also feels very nice. And I think this is a very, very nice interior for a car like the Scala. The Skoda Scala comes with rims between 16 up to 18 inch. Very important is the base version of the car features 16-inch steel wheels. Our car here has mounted the 17-inch alloys. They are standard with the trim level style. When you look at the whole side of the car, you see there are not so many lines, but all the lines are very precise, and that gives the car the more modern look. And when you then look here at the rearview mirrors in black and these tinted windows from the B-pillar onwards, that gives the car a bit of a sporty look. And the whole shape of the car, I think the roofline is quite nice because the roofline drops slightly to the rear of the car, and that provides the car a look, I think, between an estate and a hatchback. So something special. Very important is you can have as an optional feature a panoramic roof, but that costs you 730 euros here in Germany. And very important, you can't lift that roof. It's just a panorama roof which gives you the sun or provides you with the sun if wanted. Skoda offers as an optional feature a 10-inch full digital cockpit for the Scala, which provides you with different modes like a full map, or if you want a standard instrument cluster, or if you want a more sporty look with a central big ref meter. On top of this, you can order infotainment systems with touchscreens between 6.5 up to 9.2 inch. And important with them is they not only work well, they're also always connected. So they're always on because there's an eSIM mounted in the car, which gives you the opportunity to have live data from the sat-nav, live data for parking information or for prices for fuel. On top of this, the Scala is the first car that features Apple CarPlay via Bluetooth, which means you can completely stop using cable, and if you use the optional wireless charging system, that means you don't need any cable at all, and that works very, very nicely and well. But there are two downsides with these big sat-nav systems on board. The first is there is no knob to reduce the volume of the radio, which I don't like, and on the other hand, I think more important is if you want to use Apple CarPlay and you want to switch from a different menu into the Apple CarPlay menu, you always have to go via the home button or the menu button. So there's no direct shortcut, and this is something I do not like so much. A Skoda wouldn't be a real Skoda without the simply clever solutions, and this is no different with the Scala. So of course you do find the clip here at the front window, and of course you do find the bin inside of the door. But there are loads of more new stuff on board. So for instance, with the ice scratcher, we all know the ice scratcher under the lid of the fuel tank, but this new ice scratcher offers you the opportunity to not only get rid of your ice, you also can measure the profile of your tires with it. And on top of this, we do have a integrated funnel under the lid of the tank for your window washing system, which means you will not waste so much of this quite expensive stuff when you use it or refill it. And then you do have the so-called tip to close function for the electrical tailgate, which means you just tip it and it will easily closes your boot. And there are two things I really do like inside of the boot. One is you have a net at the top of it where you can just put some stuff inside. And the other thing I really do like a lot is you do have a floor which you can turn around. So one side standard cloth, which really looks very nice. The other side plastic, which is perfect for dirty boots. The most crucial safety systems are always on board of a Skoda Scala. So you have a standard, a so-called front assist with emergency braking, and you will always have a lane assist as well. On top of this, you can choose out of a variety of comfort and safety features like an adaptive cruise control, like a rear view camera, like a park assist, and I think very important, a blind spot assist which now gives you more range. So that means that measures up to 70 meters behind your car. And that means you can really choose what kind of comfort and safety you want. The first thing that attracts your eyes at the rear of the car is for sure these big black glass panel here, which is typical for the Skoda Scala. And very important, this is the first Skoda model that features no logo. It features the Skoda signature here at the rear. What I really do like is this cut down here, because this is a precise line and that makes the whole car look a lot wider. And another thing that is important for the look of the car are these 3D taillights here, and very important with them is, as standard, you will have the indicator as well as the rear lamp as a standard bulb, but we do feature the full LED package, which means we do have everything that illuminates as LEDs, and on top you get the dynamic indicators as well. While standing at the rear of the car, let's have a look into the boot. The Skoda Scala features, with the rear seats up, 467 litres of boot capacity. If you fold down the rear bench, that increases up to 1,410 litres, and these are about 100 litres in each position more than the Volkswagen Golf. As a typical Skoda, the storage amount inside of the Scala must be sufficient, and so we do find quite big storage spaces here inside of the door panels, where you can easily put a bigger bottle into it if you want. You also do find two cup holders here at the center console and an extra department beneath the armrest. On top of this, you do find a small department here at the front, where normally is the wireless charging mounted if you want, and of course you do find enough space in the rear doors as well. So the car really provides you the amount of space you need to get everything with you want to have in your car. What I really like is the control of the climate control with the Scala. The standard controls are mounted beneath these air outtakes here in the center console, and that works with buttons and knobs. This is standard, but if you press the menu button here, the whole menu pops up to the main screen here at the top, and that really gives you the opportunity to not only change it the way you want, you can also instantly see how it works. Skoda says that our car, the Scala, with a 1.5 litre 150 horsepower petrol engine combined with a 7-speed DSG, should take about 5 litres per 100 kilometer driven in average. We didn't reach that number. When we drove this morning quite easy and, let's say slow, we reached a number of about 6.2 litres per 100 kilometer driven, but now we did a bit more of driving, and now we reached a number which is about 7.2, 7.3 litres. And I think this is a number you should expect if you drive the car daily. So, which means you may drive a bit more quick on driving through the countryside or on the motorway. And I think you should expect an average of 7.2, 7.5 maybe, but I think for a 150 horsepower petrol engine, that's an absolutely fine number. That was my first test drive with the new Skoda Scala. What I really do like with the car is, once the exterior design, that's modern and that's fresh, and then the interior is so spacious and very important. We find nice materials and modern technology. We drove the 1.5 litre 150 horsepower petrol engine, which works great, and we did have a consumption of about 7 point whatever litres per 100 kilometer driven. I think that's absolutely fine for that segment of a car. The base price of the car is a bit above 21,000 euros, but if you want the engine we have and you want the trim level we have, you do have to pay more than 27,000. If you then pick up all the little bits and pieces we have on board, you have to expect something above 30,000 euros. But still, that car really is absolutely a great competitor in its segment. So I think if you need a car in this compact segment and you don't want to spend too much, have a closer look at the Scala.